For over a century, the relationship between Iran and the United States has swung between cooperation and conflict, shaped by geopolitics and competing visions for the Middle East. After World War II, the U.S. emerged as a global superpower and engaged with Iran, a key oil producer and strategic partner. In 1953, the CIA helped overthrow Iran's elected government, replacing it with a pro-American monarch. That coup seeded deep resentment among many Iranians. Tensions exploded in 1979 when the Iranian Revolution toppled the Shah and brought a theocratic republic to power. Radical students seized the U.S. embassy in Tehran and held 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. The crisis severed diplomatic ties and launched decades of hostility. Throughout the 1980s, the U.S. backed Iraq in its brutal war with Iran, and naval clashes in the Persian Gulf underscored rising mistrust. In 1988, the U.S. mistakenly shot down an Iranian civilian airliner, killing 290 people, a tragedy that remains a potent symbol of animosity. The roots of this conflict are also geographic and strategic. Iran sits at the heart of the Middle East, controlling access to the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly a fifth of global oil flows. Its location makes it a fulcrum of regional security, energy, and global economic stability. In the early 21st century, disputes over Iran's nuclear program dominated relations. The 2015 nuclear deal, known as the JCPOA, temporarily eased tensions by limiting Iran's nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. But in 2018, the U.S. withdrew and reimposed harsh sanctions, crippling Iran's economy and heightening mistrust. Recent years have seen a dangerous escalation. In 2025, U.S. forces struck Iranian nuclear sites, intensifying fears of full-scale war. Iran's internal economic crisis and widespread protests have added pressure on the regime. Today, in early 2026, both sides remain locked in a tense standoff. The U.S. has built up military forces in the Middle East as a deterrent and warning, while Iranian leaders warn that any attack could spark a wider regional war. Iran has also signaled willingness to negotiate, though no formal talks have been scheduled. Looking forward, the future of this conflict is uncertain. One scenario points toward escalation where continued provocations and mistrust could spiral into open conflict, drawing in regional allies and destabilizing global energy markets. Another path, diplomacy and negotiated agreements, could ease tensions if both sides find common ground on nuclear limits, sanctions relief, and regional security. International actors such as Russia and Turkey have already called for dialogue to prevent wider war. Ultimately, the trajectory of US-Iran relations will depend on political leadership, regional dynamics, and whether diplomacy can overcome decades of mutual suspicion.